Hello and welcome to episode number 52 of the Daily Sales Message. If you're new around here, my name is James Newell. I teach people how to sell for a living. And for me, that comes in two parts. It starts with having a clear sales message so people understand what you're trying to sell to them. And then we move on to selling confidence, your ability to be relaxed and comfortable in a selling situation. In this episode of the Daily Sales Message, we're talking about letting people go. Controversial. When you understand that I teach people how to sell for a living, I'm a sales coach, sales trainer, whatever you want to use. For most people, that's code for I'm a bit of a moron. And I'm going to tell you to do sleazy, uncomfortable things that you don't want to do. That might be what you're expecting. And certainly in the past, I've actually had one particular client who said, oh, actually, you're a nice person, aren't you? That's funny. I was expecting you to be a bit of a moron. You're actually quite a nice person. Yes, thanks very much for that. But letting people go for me is really important. I take the approach that when you're going to have a call with somebody, the focus of the call is if I can help you, and then we'll talk about how I can help you. It's not I'm going to close you and I'm going to take your money, which is some of the kind of traditional thinking, whether it's correct or otherwise. That's what we're expecting to be told in sales training, is always be closing and blah, blah, blah. For me, it's let's see if I can help you first of all. Then we're going to talk about it. But the same is true when you actually have clients. So if people want to cancel, want to leave, don't want to buy from me anymore, I just let them go. In my own consultancy business, this hasn't really happened to me because I don't have too many ongoing commitments with people. But certainly in my previous role, my sales role, when I was supplying vehicles en masse, I was a corporate key account manager. If we had a client say, look, it's not working out, etc., okay, no problem at all. I respect you for that. Let's just transition you away. You're in charge here, blah, blah, blah. I really don't think, obviously, if there's problems to solve and challenges to overcome, we can look at them and we can do that. But sometimes people have made up their mind and that's it. And the last thing you want to do is I'm going to use the word argument, is going to be having an argument with them about why they should stay and why you're brilliant and things will be better and blah, blah, blah. It's a bit like if you've ever tried to leave a mobile phone contract, and there's a couple of providers here in the UK who historically were really, really terrible for keeping you on the phone. As soon as you said, I'd like to leave my contract, they keep you on the phone endlessly trying to convince you and offer you stuff and this and that so they don't lose you. And all that really happens, because I had one of these calls myself, all that happened to me was I still left them because that was my intention, but I badmouthed them afterwards because they made it really difficult and they wasted all of my time. So the moral of the story today is that if people don't want to continue working with you, which is going to happen at some point, see if there's anything you can fix, but be very mindful of the fact that they probably have already made the decision and they've probably in their head already given you chances and it's just not worked out, even though you weren't aware of it. So trying to argue with them and fight with them and trying to keep them is not really in anybody's interest. Let them go. And ironically, they'll probably be more appreciative of that and say nicer things about you because you made it easy for them to leave you rather than if you argued the toss with them like some of these mobile phone providers used to do. And then you just had a really unpleasant experience. Don't be afraid of letting buyers go when they're telling you that they no longer want to buy from you. If it's a problem you can solve, great. If you just get the sense that they've already made the decision, honor that. Because if you had made the decision and somebody was arguing with you and resistant, you wouldn't like it. So why are you doing that to these people? I'll tell you why. It's from scarcity. You think if you're letting these people go, you'll never replace them, or it'll be very hard to replace them because we think that lead generation and client acquisition is a difficult thing to do. It is not a difficult thing to do. It just requires you to move outside your comfort zone and make phone calls and send emails and place adverts and put yourself out there and say, hey, this is what we do. Do you want to buy some? And not everybody's comfortable doing that. I get that. But let these people go. Don't try and hold on to people. I have this mantra in my business, which funnily enough, I mentioned in the previous episode of the Daily Sales Message, which is don't chase them, replace them. So rather than being attached to people and chasing them and haranguing them and trying to be all over them, just replace them. Seek to find more potential buyers, because when you have more potential buyers, you have more options. And when there's more options and less pressure, people are more inclined to buy from you anyway, and it's just more pleasant for everybody. Pressure repels buyers. So that's this episode of the Daily Sales Message, episode number 52. Let them go. If people want to stop working with you, respect that. Let them go. Don't fight them. They've probably already made up their mind. Tomorrow in episode number 53 of the Daily Sales Message, we're going to be talking about next steps, covering next steps when it comes to a sales conversation. If you want to find out about that, you'll have to tune in tomorrow for another exciting edition of the Daily Sales Message. If you haven't already rated us on your podcast platform of choice or left us a review, good or bad, I would really appreciate if you could do so. Leaving a review will help us to reach more people and help them to understand precisely what to expect from each episode of the Daily Sales Message. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow in episode number 53.